Hello students, I'm Hardesh from the DAVESAR Consultants, and today's session is a special session with two of our students who have just gone through their IELTS exams and they have really excelled. So we'll be having their views on IELTS preparation, that how other students can perform better because they have just seen everything by themselves. So first of all, I will introduce those two our students. First is Mr. Anmol Sharma. He is chartered accountant by profession. He appeared for general IELTS exam. If I talk about his IELTS score, he scored overall 7.5 bands. In listening, he got 8.5. In reading, he got 8.5. In writing, he got 7. And overall 7.5. Shannaz Gill is a second student with us today. She has just completed her year 12 in the year 2020. And if we talk about her IELTS score, she has scored very well, overall 8 bands. In listening, she got 9 bands. In reading, she got 8.5 bands. Writing, she got 7. And speaking, she got 7.5 bands. So I welcome you, Shannaz. I welcome you, Anmol.
Thank you, sir.
So we not taking much time. We start with the question answer session. My first question is for you, Anmol. Can you tell us what are the strategies or what the things one must keep in mind while preparing for listening exam?
Sir, I really don't know any strategy, but I think that according to me, there are 3 parameters which one has to keep in mind while attending the listening module, and those factors and those parameters are the first one is the focus, the second one is the concentration, and the last and the third one is the understanding of the question. Because in the real listening exam, you are given with the 30 seconds to understand the question. And for understanding the question, what one has to do is to just mark those keywords which are going to be repeated in that listening, or what the examiner will be telling to you. And that was these are the 3 parameters which I followed in the real exam. I didn't look here and there what the other students are doing. I just concentrated myself onto this fully on this listening module. And while I was given the 30 seconds for understanding the question, but not only 30 seconds, but even you are given some 50 to 20 seconds for writing down your answers. I even utilized that 20 seconds for understanding the next questions which are going to be attempted by me. So I think these 3 are the very important things which one should keep in mind while doing his listening.
Okay, you mean that one must remain focused during
Yes,
the listening exam,
yes,
because
yes,
if one is focused, then he'll be able to do his best.
yes.
So Shanaz, you've also done very well in listening since you have got the highest possible score. That's 9 bands in listening part. So what things would you like to advise to the future students?
Sir, first and foremost, I think it is very important to be mentally present there because the mere physical presence is not counted. So it is very important to be mentally present there. And then they give you time to analyze the questions, to read them, and to go through them. So it is very important to utilize that time. During that time, you should just concentrate on what you are given with. Just read those questions, read the headings of the questions, what are there, what they are asking you to attempt the question while attempting the question. So it is very important during that time to remain vigilant.
Okay, Anmol, sorry, Shahnaz. Normally, there's one part of the questions that is MCQs, multiple choice questions, and most of the times the
Yes, sir.
students find it difficult. So, what things the student must keep in mind while attempting such questions, MCQs?
Sir, while solving MCQs, presence of mind is the most important thing because they try to cancel out the given options by themselves by like changing their mind during the conversations which are we are provided with. So it is very important to like concentrate on what they are asking, and to reach till the final answer, you need to go through their conversations really very well. Then you are able to reach to your final answer.
All right. So related questions to you, Anmol. There's one again one part of the IELTS speaking, sorry, IELTS listening test. that is picture, completing the picture. So what do you
Yes.
think, how one must handle this part?
So the most, I think the thing which I tried in the exam when I was presented with the map in the listening was, I first of all marked the directions of the maps. That is the first and the foremost thing which I think the students should do, because when they in the listening, when the speaker will be telling about the directions, they will not be telling you straight away that this thing is here. They will be telling loud, like the auditorium is on the northeast side of the park, like these types of things. So if you are not if you don't know that where is the northeast part of the map, then you will not be able to solve or mark that location. And I think that whenever the map is presented to you, the first and the foremost thing you have to do is the straight away mark the directions. Where is west, where is north, where is south, and where is east.
Okay, so you mean keeping the directions in view and practicing it more and more is the
Yes.
only way to get maximum score in this part.
Yeah.
And as
Yeah.
Shahnaz has discussed that normally the speaker himself cancels the options which he asks or which he says during the conversation. So students must be very focused or very concentrated during listening, and especially during these MCQs. So Anmol, there's a fourth section in listening, and that is complete continuous conversation or speaking for around 6 to 7 minutes. So how one can focus on those questions?
So the first and the foremost thing is the student should know if in speaking, if the speaker is telling about a singular thing or a plural thing, because these two are the things which are mostly asked in. Like if they are talking about employees, then you have to focus on employee, and always keep in mind the main topic, what the speaker was talking about. If he is talking about sales, then you have to keep in mind the sales topic, and then attempt questions. And the second one is the focus. You have to keep a focus on what he is saying, and have a look on your questions also. And I think that these are the factors which I kept in mind while I attempted this.
All right. So, Shahnaz, if we come to the reading part, again, you have got 8.5 in reading, and reading is the part which students find most difficult in IELTS section. So, what generic tips you will like to share with the students in reading?
So the first tip that I would like to suggest my fellow students is that you should be very good at time management, because you are provided with three passages to solve, but the time is just not enough to manage these passages. So you should be really well at time management. So, and you should not waste much time on the things you are not being able to solve, because in this way you may miss out other things which you must be knowing. So it is very important to leave the things which you don't know for the last some minutes, because you are left with much time when you when you don't waste much time on the things before. So it is very important to have an efficient time management during the reading module.
Okay. So, Anmol, what would you like to share this on the same? Because you have got, again, 8.5 bands in listening, so reading.
Sir, I think according to me, the very first thing while attempting the reading section, and while reading the whole passages, is the one student must mark the names if it is appearing in the passages, and secondly the dates. The dates and the names are the most important ones for which the reading passage will ask you a question about. And the second is that if you are attempting the reading section, in the reading questions they will like if in reading section there are questions about fill-ups also, where you have to fill those blanks. And I think that blanks are very easy to fill, but where the students are making their mistakes is they don't know if the question is talking about a singular thing or a plural thing. Like in sometimes they will ask about like for before a blank they will put an like article like a or the, or like is am. If they are talking about is, then obviously then you will know that the blank will be regarding the third person. So, and the third, I would like to talk, I will tell to my fellow students is that always practice not given true false questions, because these are the questions where one makes the mistakes and will get very low marks. And even in my mock tests, even if I was making mistakes and those mistakes were in those sections, these true given, because I often confuse false with not given. So, and this always made me felt very bad. So, but I practiced it a lot. So these are the things which I think student must keep in mind.
Thank you. So really, you people shared very good tips. So students, I just summarize what they said about the reading part. The first is time management, because you are supposed to complete 40 questions in 60 minutes. And initially, everyone feels like this, that he is not able to complete even half of the reading questions in the given time. And out of those completed half questions, the student sometimes is not able to get 10 or 12 correct answers. So initially you will have problem in reading, but once you start focusing on time management, you are sure to make a good progress. So time management is very important factor which every student must focus, and you should uh, start keeping time in mind from the very first day. Normally what students do, that first they start attempting the questions. Okay, let's first focus on the question, that how many correct I can make. No, this is important, how many correct you can make, but at the same time, what is more important is that in how much time you are able to attempt, because there are three sections in reading. So sometimes in the third section, the answers are very easy. You can easily find, but that's possible only if you are, if you have time. I still remember once I was reading a book on the reading section of IELTS, and there was a line beautifully written that don't fall in love with the question. Because sometimes what happens, we are supposed to get, I mean, we have only 1.5 minutes for one question, and we keep on finding the answer on the for the one single question for more than 3, 4, 5 minutes. Then we are left with no time, but we are left with so many questions. So again, time management. And secondly, as Anmol said, that you must underline the keywords while skimming and scanning your passage, because if you are able to underline the important dates, important names, important places, then you can easily keep in mind, and you can easily find your answers. And one thing I would like to add to both of these guys is that you must focus on rubrics as well. Rubrics means instructions given at the top of the question, because sometimes I have seen that they said that answer must not be more than 3 words, or answer must not be more than 2 words and a number, and or oblique a number. In that question, if you write 3 words or 4 words, though your answer is correct, but it will be taken as incorrect. So rubrics are very important to be read before starting with the questions. Now I come to the third part of the writing IELTS, that is writing. So Anmol, what are your comments on the writing section of the IELTS test?
So I think the writing section is the section where students scores the least in the overall IELTS score. And for this writing section, I would like to talk only about 5 things which are very important in writing section. The first and the foremost is the structure. The structure is very important. If you are losing track regarding your structure, then obviously the examiner will cut your marks, because examiners always look for the structure, that if whether the student is writing what he is demanding from him or not. And the secondly is the vocabulary. If you don't know the correct meaning of a word which you are going to use instead of the other word for the purpose of paraphrasing the title, then obviously the examiner would get to know that you are not very much good, or you are just guess playing with the vocabulary part of this section. And the third and the foremost, the most important is the usage of complex and passive sentences. Because these two, if you are including one or two complex or passive sentences, then obviously your score you will not get a very bad score, because it will prove that yes, you know the correct usage of it. Because like in, for example, in complex sentences, instead of using full stop, you can use and, while, whereas, in order to. These are the, I think these are the words which one can use instead of using the full stop. And the other thing I would like to talk is the direction. You shouldn't be losing track of your direction, because like if you are if the question is asking about the effectiveness of something, you shouldn't be talking about the convenience. Because effectiveness is in Punjabi we can say कि ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਆ. But if we are using the word convenience, that it is very convenient, then that means you are talking about ਸੁਵਿਧਾਜਨਕ. ਸੁਵਿਧਾਜਨਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਇਫੈਕਟਿਵਨੈਸ ਵੀ ਹੋਵੇ, ਉਹਦੇ ਇਫੈਕਟਿਵ ਹੋਵੇ। ਸਾਈਕਲ ਸੁਵਿਧਾਜਨਕ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਹੈ, ਬਟ ਉਹ ਇਫੈਕਟਿਵ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਾਰ ਨਾਲੋਂ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਬਹੁਤ this is a very important thing which one should keep in mind. And the last I would like to say is read question at least 5 to 10 times. At least 5 to 10 times read the question, what the question is asking from you, what is the main topic. Like in my exam I was asked the question about whether the historical building should be demolished for the purpose of housing or not. So the main topic was the destruction of the historical building. I read that statement again and again, and I proceeded with my writing section, keeping in mind the historical buildings. So these are the 5 things which I think one should keep in mind while writing.
Lovely. That's lovely. Great. So, Shannaz, would you like to add something to Mr. Anmol?
Yes, sir, of course. Sir, I think during writing, it is very important to have a wide range of vocabulary, first of all, because writing requires your expression, and having good expression skills with the help of vocabulary is really appreciable. Then, sir, during task 1, it is very important to follow a particular structure, because to make your data more cohesive and more analytical, it shows your data, like it is very important to have a particular structure. And following a particular structure also helps you to attain the parameter of coherence. So, and making comparative studies during your task 1, it is very important, because writing mere figures there would not add to your score. Then, sir, during task 2, it is very important to read the question at least 3 to 4 times, because sometimes the questions have various parts asked from you. So for that, you need to read the question really carefully, and so that our parameter of task response is fulfilled.
All right, that's lovely again. So, students, if I summarize their talks with you, so I would like to add that at the end of your answer sheet in writing part, there are 4 things written, that is CC, GRA, TATR, and VSS. So all these 4 things must be kept in mind, because they have equal weightage in getting your scores. CC means coherence and cohesion, GRA means grammatical range and accuracy, TATR means task achievement or task fulfillment, and the last one is the VSS, vocabulary and sentence structure. Like Anmol said that you must have variety of structures, complex sentences, compound sentences, so that the examiner can find a variety in your writing part. And at the same time, lexical resource, LR, there's one part, LR, lexical resource. So as Shannaz has discussed that vocabulary is very important, because if you are, though you're using a good word, but if you're repeating it again and again it's taken as negative, your score will not be up to the mark. So to get better score, you must use a good vocabulary and you must not repeat it. So now I come to the last part of the IELTS part, that is speaking. So Anmol, what are your comments on speaking?
My comments on speaking are that the question,
and please be a little louder, more.
Okay. So the very first thing one should keep in mind while going for the speaking is that one must be very confident, because the examiner over there will try to confuse you or even intimidate you by giving you a very false expressions like your speaking is not going very well. So you shouldn't be giving much importance to those expressions because they are told to confuse the students. And secondly, one just go by keeping in mind like you are going to give a speak, you're speaking to a friend, because when you are talking to your friend, obviously the ideas would come and would come in a very good flow. And secondly, one must keep eye to eye contact with the examiner so that the examiner can know that yes, the student is very confident and knows all about the speaking.
All right. So, Shannaz, you have got 7.5 bands in speaking. It's really a good score for the Year 12 student. So, what would you like to add here?
Sir, I think the moment you enter your examiner's room, it is very important to maintain a confident smile on your face, first of all. Then it is very important to greet your examiner as well.
Nice.
Then after you start your speaking test, it is very important to maintain a confident eye contact with the examiner, as many times like they try to confuse you by doing certain things, like they start writing something on the paper, or they even start setting the curtains sometimes. So you don't need to like panic during that time. So you should focus only on your speaking, and you just not need to pause there or just to panic there. You just need to continue with whatever you are speaking. And then sir, it is very important in speaking also to use vocabulary, because repeating the same thing again and again would not make any sense there. So it is very important here, and the most important thing is confidence during speaking, undoubtedly.
That's again good. So, as these two students have said that one is appropriate eye contact must be there, and at the same time, students or candidates who are appearing for a speaking exam, they must maintain their confidence, because if you're confident, then you can listen to the questions very carefully and you can express your answers as well in the same tone. So that's good, and don't panic if your examiner is behaving differently, because what happens that, for example, I'm a student and I'm going there only for 14 or 15 minutes or 13 minutes, whatever is the time. That's very important time for me. But if you talk about examiner, he's doing the same thing for the whole day, rather for the whole week. So sometimes he gets bored, or he doesn't take much interest. Sometimes students tell us that they give different gestures during the speaking. So you should not panic about that. You must focus on what the questions has been asked to you and what you are answering to that question. So that's very important, and you you must not make your answers very long. There are three sections: listening section, a cue card is there, that's called monologue, and the follow-up questions. So in all these questions, you must answer all the questions in a complete length. And if you talk about cue card, so you should not finish before 1 minute, and examiner will not let you go beyond 2 minutes. So this thing must also be kept in mind. So this is all on the four parts of the four skills of IELTS test. So students will keep on bringing such scholars with you, people who can share their experience with you, who can share the tips with you, because one who has gone through the test or any part of the event, automatically he becomes a senior to the other one who has to go through it. So last week we had a video with Prabjot Kaur. She scored 9 bands in reading and she shared very good tips. So we'll keep on bringing such sessions with you people, and if you have any questions, you're always welcome to come to the DAVESAR. So last part, in 1 or 2 minutes, I would like to ask Mr. Anmol, what was your experience at the DAVESARs?
So the experience was great, and the guidance was there, and each and every tutor over there helped me with my queries whenever I required something. Like if I required some more material, like for example, I once asked my tutor to give me at least 15 reading mock tests so that I can attempt at my home. She gave me literally not only 15, she gave me 20 mock tests. So I think the guidance over there is very great, and the the first and the foremost thing, the most important is the environment. Environment is very great, very supportive staff, and one will not feel that he has come to a very lonely or very strange place where he is not being respected by their teachers or is not being listened by his tutor.
Oh, that's great. And Shannaz, you please tell us your experience with the DAVESA team.
Sir, my experience was really very good at DAVESAR. First of all, the teachers and the faculty here is very generous and kind. And the teachers are even very keen to teach you the basics if you are weak at them. And as I had to prepare for IELTS in a short span of time, though, so the teachers there helped me a lot during that time so that I can score good. And it is because of them that I was able to score such fine scores.
That's lovely. So I would like to add here that the DAVESA has become a company who is a teacher by generations, because I still remember Shahnaz's uncle was my student long time back, I think around 20 years, and now he's settled in Canada, and he referred Shahnaz to the DAVESA. Akwinder, I think his name is Akwinder.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, and I would like to share one more thing here, that we had 7 students and all the 8 students, and all the 8 students got, some got 7.5 bands, some got 7 bands. So one of the students, she's from DPS, she advised me to start with a campaign which we are starting very soon, that 7 bands easy with the whistle. So I'm very, very happy in sharing that compliment of that student. Really, it's good. So once again, thank you, Anmol, for your precious time with us, and because I know you're very busy throughout the day with your files of income tax and all these things. And Shannaz, I thank you also, because I had to keep you waiting for a long time today. So thank you very much once again. Thank you. Thank you.